I was in preschool or kindergarten. I don't exactly remember which one, but my mom picked me up and she was crying and we had to go home early from class that day. That's what I remember.
I was in the third grade. I remember them putting it on the TV in my third grade classroom and not really sure what was going on though at the time.
I'll never forget, but it's how we choose to remember. It's how we choose to observe it. That's what matters. Never forget, does that mean remember to be enraged? I choose to observe this as a religious tolerance day.
I think it's interesting to look at the repercussions just from a purely societal standpoint about like how it's influenced our international politics. But it's also a very significant reminder of like the fact that terrorism can hit home, and it's interesting to see the strength in how Americans have united after that and become kind of a stronger and more united force.
We live in a world with the constant threat of terrorism that we work against. It's just become a fact of life. It's not a surprise anymore, which is the saddest part.
Today it just reminds me of how thankful I am to have people that I love around me and to not take it for granted, and also to not take my country for granted because we've been given a lot of freedoms and liberties. So just to remember those lives we lost, and to respect those who are out there fighting for that exact reason.
I think it was one of the most terrible terrorist attacks that we've had, and it really upped our security. But it also brought on a lot of racial biases towards Islam and just like people of color, really.
We don't want that to happen again, but how do we go about without hurting others the same way we were hurt? Is what I'm trying to say. Like, how do we stop this from happening again without doing this to someone else?